I was thinking about how I'm beginning to feel about immigrants, particularly those that say they aren't black immigrants. And I'm really starting to feel a certain type of way. But what came to my mind this morning is the African apartheid. I remember it was a huge thing in the 80s. A huge thing. But anyway, when I hear things said online, things they wouldn't dare say face to face. But, when I hear things said about those called Black Americans, FBA, ADOS, by immigrants, particularly African immigrants, I think, how? Okay, wait a minute. I'll tell you when I come back. Hey folks, welcome back. Let me complete or finish what I was saying initially. The thought that comes to my mind is, how dare you fix your face to say such demeaning untruths about us? Here's the thing. When I constantly saw black folks, black Americans rallying, it was like a rally cry would go out for the continent of Africa. I even did a video a couple of weeks ago talking about the deal that the Trump administration made to help the Congo. And I really was elated. In my heart, I was like, oh my God, thank you. I'm so thankful that they might have some peace, because they have been having constant wars, a lot of lives lost. So I was like, wow, I was really feeling happy for them. But, it's disheartening. It causes you to be angry to realize that it's not returned. How we have been feeling about, since it was, to me, I feel like, Pan-Africanism was shoved down our throats. I feel like this country and other people that came to this country tried to force us to feel something about Africa or for Africa that a lot of us didn't feel, because we are completely unaware of Africa. Not mean unaware of its existence and location. I mean, we have no connection to Africa. And as I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying, a lot of us, the majority of us that were put in chains, didn't come from Africa. And then I saw a video. I can't remember who was it on. African Diaspora channel. This guy was talking about, because they got a bug up their ass ever since Donald Trump came out and said what the 14th Amendment was for. He was like, I don't know why, this African guy was like, I don't know why black folks, black Americans is feeling this way and feeling that way. I think he called us dumb or something. We celebrate everything. And if you're not from Africa, why are you even celebrating that? And I'm like, fool. God, and I really do say that from my heart when I call somebody a fool. Dude, we don't have to be from Africa to celebrate that. And you guys have it so stuck in your head that everybody that was in bondage came from Africa. They're not telling you the truth in your world, and America's not telling us the truth. Because you don't realize how huge this deception is and how long it's gone on. But like I tell you, the truth always has to come to light. But anyway, he was just talking off the side of his neck. I was like, why do y'all have an issue with what we celebrate? What is the real issue? Can you tell me what the real issue is? Because this sounds like a lot like envy and jealousy to me. I guess they feel like, well, damn, if I got to go through the troubles and poverty, I'd rather go through it in America. I don't blame you. Because the conditions in some of you guys' countries, including Europe, I'm like, Lord, the continent of Europe, I'm like, Lord Jesus Christ, thank God I was born in America. I really do feel that way. It's disheartening to, because like I said, it felt like we were being forced to have a connection with Africa. And then when we heard about the things that were going on over there in various countries, some of our hearts really went out. And you had big time celebrities that stood up and spoke out. Coretta Scott King, she protested what was going on in the 80s. I mean, in the 80s protested about the apartheid. A lot of our people in this country rebuked the apartheid, and that was one of the reasons it ended. It's at a point, it's like, what Janet Jackson's song, "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" I really feel that way. Why are you guys always asking something from us, and what have you given us in return? You don't even come over here and bring us some of your precious metals. Everybody in the world has came in and snatched literally whatever they want from your continent. Those called Black Americans, we ain't got what we get from you. We gotta buy. Now, what kind of ish is that? And you always got your hands out asking us for support, but you give nothing in return. Just like the guy who bought Essence. First of all, black folks didn't sell directly to Africans. They sold it to some white folks, but at least they had sense enough to preserve the respect and the culture. The Africans came in and said, we don't give a F about your culture. We're going to take this model and revamp it for Africa, and we're going to take it and run with it. And now that I talk about it, the way it sounds like it's ludicrous. But anyway, they didn't even have the decency, and you look like us, and you guys ran with it in a disrespectful manner. But then the ones, the white folks, they had sense enough to know, what, we're not about to blow up the spot, so let's preserve their culture. You go online, and even before the deportation, especially on Twitter, oh my God, everybody let their hatred out. Those Africans would come for you like they want you to find them. They say the most disturbing, cruel things online, and then if I was one of them people, I would find them. But that's what I'm saying, provocation. I keep saying provocation is against the law. And some of those words they say are very provoking. And don't come to me and, well, it's just words don't hurt. Who told you that lie? Think about something that was said to you in your childhood that you still, something so cold and hurtful that you still flinch today when you think about it. Words do hurt. They can go deep into your soul. So anyway, let me get on with this article I found about the African apartheid and how a lot of our people, it wasn't just us, but a lot of our people, those called Black Americans, ADOS, FBA, stepped in to help when you were in dire straits. And what did you give us back in return? Your ass to kiss. Which you about to get a swift kick in it. Okay, listen to this article. Oh, Lord have mercy, God. You better thank God. You better thank God that I have the heart that I have today. You should. You should really thank him. I'm trying to tell you. The relationship between Black Americans in South Africa is rooted in a shared history of racial oppression, political activism, and cultural exchange. From the 1960s to the present, Black American leaders, organizations, artists, and media outlets have played a significant role in supporting South Africa's liberation movements. And before I go on, there is some clips I wanted to play you. I completely forgot. I was so wrapped up in semi-venting that I completely forgot. Let me play these clips for you to show more or confirm why this delineation and separation is very much needed. Check this out.
You are the only non-immigrants in America. The only non-immigrants. So when you start using a word for yourself, always call yourself a non-immigrant. Don't call yourself anything else other than that. Don't call yourself a minority. And to some degree, if you really want to be slick, I would even call myself an African American.
I told you when they started calling us African Americans, it used to just grate me. And it was nothing personal about Africa. It was just something I just felt. It just didn't stick. It didn't feel right. I guess that was God telling me, they're lying to you. I didn't find out till years later the truth. You know what they say about projections. People tend to project onto you how they feel. Well, a lot of groups do that when it comes to us, particularly the usual suspects. They project onto us how they feel or how they know they are. Listen to this dude.
I have absolutely no problem with the lineage. I think that y'all are the watered down versions of us.
He said it with his whole chest. He didn't say, hey, I'm not trying to offend. I'm just stating facts. He said, how are we the watered down version of you when you need to come over here? And some say you need to flee over here to make a life better for you, to take care of you and your family. We're not fleeing to your country to make a living. Most of the times that Black Americans are moving to your country, they are coming with things. They're not coming there to, hey, I need to move to Africa because I need to get a good job. But that's what you have to do when you come here. So how are we the watered down version of you when you show all the time that you guys need us? And then I was listening to another video of Nasheed. This caller, he was Ethiopian. He called in talking out the side of his neck, was asking why are immigrants more successful in this country, more successful than us. Nasheed asked him to give examples. So he was trying to come up with the whole household income thing. Nasheed said, no, that's not proof, because if it's like 50 or 100 of you guys living in a household and you're combining those the income of 50 or 100 people, that doesn't count, because what I'm adding, there could be a two-person household, Black Americans who make triple or quadruple what 50 or 100 of you guys make in one household. So he also asked the Ethiopian to give an example of how they're doing better than us. He said, what kind of wealthy communities did they build? What areas do they live in? What areas do they live in to basically show their wealth? And Nasheed was like, I can name, a plethora of wealthy, affluent, rich Black American communities throughout the nation. And he named a few, and he named Baldwin Hills, Ladera Heights. I'm going to add Windsor Hill, View Park. And then there is a tiny, small community in Torrance, California. If you know anything about Torrance, California, it's a small Black American, very rich, wealthy community in Torrance, California. So when he asked the caller to name some wealthy communities that Nigerians or other immigrants built, and then I could say on your own, you didn't have to come out here in America to build it, to get a job and build it. He couldn't name not a one. Had to get his ass off the phone. Now listen to this. I believe it's Puerto Rican. School this woman who looked like us. Check it out.
That word delineation that they use a lot, and they were saying like, we just want to delineate. We want to. But I was like, what are we delineating from? They want to delineate from all other Black diasporas, and they just want to be this unique. They want the African American or Black American community to be unique within their own culture. And beside being Black American, they want to claim it also as an ethnicity.
Objectively speaking, they are unique. Their experience is unique. We could say that objectively.
See her disposition immediately change when he came in and let her know that he was not agreeing with her. That he came out and just said, yes, they are unique. If she could tune him out and turn off the camera, she would.
That the FBA experience, the Black American experience, yes, they're Black, and yes, Black people of Latin America, Black Africans, yeah, they're all Black. They're the Black race, but objectively, Black Americans do have a unique experience. And I think that your own experience has proven it, and the experience of Africans that come to this country, Latinos that are Black that come to this country, your experiences are much different. Your experience as a Black Latina is much different here than the FBA experience. So
Absolutely.
Their experience is unique, as well as their culture is unique.
I'm never biased. I'm not prejudiced. But what I don't like is you trying to put down my people and think I'm not going to say anything. Now, when you can speak and be honest and really show that you see the truth, I give you all the props in the world, and it doesn't matter your color. And that's facts. Now, this is the last clip I want to share with you, and I rock with this dude. Rock with him. I completely agree with what he said. I really do. Check it out. Listen to him.
These countries are fighting over black Americans, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Trump saying birthright citizenship was only for black Americans. You all call him a businessman. What do businessmen do? Go for the people who make him the most money, correct? Then a while back, this guy, he's from the Asian community, and he was basically saying how the Asians and black Americans need to come together. When there's literally Africans, there's Caribbean. Y'all have so many selections, but you all choose the black Americans. Now I'm hearing that Africa, the year of the return was for us to go back and to invest into the continent, not for us to come back to just, come back home. It was to invest. I saw that they're trying to use the black American dollar to build up Africa. Now, I saw a lot of videos of people talking about Essence Fest and, Red Lobster and how they're moving into those spaces. And that's what they're using the money for. I just don't understand why the people who were sold in the slave trade literally have to help the people who had a dealing with the slave trade. And what's even more messed up about this, I was looking at a young man's post. He's from Ghana. He was talking about how there was a fire that broke out. There's a market in Ghana that's very popular. And they said that they were putting water down, but it was actually gasoline. People smelled it. All of a sudden, the market burned down. And then they said the next day, that's when they granted citizenship to black people, mainly black Americans. And this is just my personal opinion, but I just feel like it's messed up because you're basically destroying how they make their money for people that's going to make you money. You're looking at your own pockets. You're not even looking at your own citizenship. Your own citizens. Why the fuck would we go there? You're treating them like shit.
There are so many nations that know the truth about those called black Americans. And like I said, in due time, it's going to all come out. And then you're going to truly understand why so much hatred against us. Why it seems like all the nations are rallying against us. It's biblical, I'm trying to tell y'all. Let me finish talking about how black Americans helped. They say black Americans were essential in causing apartheid to end. And you see what we get back in return? It's like, the way Africans act, they remind me of somebody you always knew was not a friend. And they always showed you that they weren't friends, but you kept them around anyway until you were just like, I had enough of this. I don't want to deal with you anymore. That's how they come across. Okay. From the 1960s to the present, black American leaders, organizations, artists, and media outlets have played a significant role in supporting South Africa's liberation movements, opposing apartheid, and fostering economic and cultural ties. We are going to explore the historical, political, and cultural connections that have shaped this transcontinental bond, highlighting key figure movements and institutions that have contributed to solidarity between African Americans and South Americans. And I think they wrote that with hope. That kind of hope that hopes against hope. Because I never saw, what I don't understand is why the media, and I'm not speaking about this article that I'm talking about in the past to now, why the media created this sort of like fictitious relationship between us, just like the black and brown thing. Why are they it's like a psychological game. We're going to force feed them this until they believe it. During the civil rights movement, black Americans increasingly identified with the struggles of black South Africans. Better not call them, but they better not, don't call them black South Africans. The anti-apartheid movement gained momentum in the U.S. as black American leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Congressman Charles Diggs publicly denounced South Africa's racial segregation policies. The Black Consciousness Movement, BCM, in South Africa, led by Steve Biko, drew inspiration from the Black Power movement in the U.S. See how they get inspiration from us? It's like black Americans are putting out like millions of fires and still find the time to try to assist others until we get to the point where we're like, you're on your own. Just as the civil rights movement aimed to dismantle Jim Crow laws, the BCM sought to empower black South Africans under apartheid. We was over here dealing with Jim Crow laws and still was trying to help Africa. You see that? But they had their I ain't gonna call them little, but they had their tribal wars and whatnot. And then look at us like, what you think we supposed to do for you? Wow. Several Black American-led organizations were at the forefront of anti-apartheid activism, advocating for economic sanctions, divestment, and direct action against the South African government. Trans Africa, founded in 1977, led by Ronald Reagan, Trans Africa played a leading role in pressuring U.S. policymakers to impose sanctions on South America. Now, what do we say? What do we say? We don't run, we don't flee. If we're gonna stand up and speak out for you, what you think we've done for ourselves? That is why laws and policies changed. That is supposed to work for us, but everybody else, gains from it. We should sue y'all. We should sue y'all for coming over here, taking advantage of things we fought for, and then patting your ass in our face. The judge will be like, well, how is patting their ass in your face? What would be the what do they call it? You have to have some kind of damage. Is patting their ass in your face causing you some kind of damage? Yep. So let's go on. Leon H. Sullivan and the Sullivan Principles, 1977. Reverend Sullivan introduced these corporate responsibility guidelines to encourage U.S. companies operating in South Africa to adapt fair labor policies. However, by 1987, he called for a full economic boycott of South Africa due to the regime's continued oppression. Now, you want to keep laughing and playing about this boycott? We are professionals when it comes to boycotting. You see, the Reverend called for companies to boycott South Africa because of the apartheid. I bet you it worked. Don't play with our intellects and our money. Don't do it. Free South Africa Movement, FSAM, founded in 1984. Activists such as Dr. Mary Frances Berry, Randall Robinson, and Congressman Walter Fauntroy launched a series of protests, including mass demonstrations at the South African Embassy in Washington, D.C. Congressional Black Caucus, oh Lord, they was involved. The CBC pushed for the passage of the Comprehensive Anti-Apartheid Act of 1986, overriding President Ronald Reagan's veto to impose economic sanctions on South. Damn, see what I'm talking about? Ronald Reagan was just trifling. He vetoed to impose economic. Okay. Did I do a video on that, man? I don't remember. I was planning to if I didn't do it. And today when I hear people praise him, I'm like, you ain't nothing but a racist. Because Ronald Reagan took away a lot of programs that were free. Educational, vocational programs that actually helped black folks. My auntie benefited. My auntie took some kind of technical, medical, vocational classes. She used to get top-notch medical jobs, and then I think at the time that my mother was going to go do one, that's when this fool canceled it. Disenfranchisement, they always wanted us to rely on them. Tariq Nasheed is saying that what's going on is a modern black renaissance. It's big. It's bigger than that. I said some time ago that when black Americans wake up, the world is gonna know. You think they ain't seeing? Let's go on. These organizations help shape U.S. foreign policy and increase pressure on the South African government, contributing to the eventual fall of apartheid in the early 1990s. With artists using their platforms to resist oppression, inspire activism, and celebrate cultural identity. South African influence are Black American musicians Miriam Makeba and Nina Simone, Makeba, known as Mama Africa, was embraced by the civil rights movement in the U.S. and worked closely with activists like Stokely Carmichael. Now, see, back in the day, I believe that it could have been more sincere. Like Hispanics linking up, or Latinos linking up with what was it? Black Power movement and the Black Panthers. It was more sincere back in the day, but as time went on, these people, the whole memory, the attitude changed. It reminds me of when Joseph was put in second in command in Egypt during the biblical times, and the Pharaoh said that he would remember Joseph's people, the Hebrews. And years, hundreds of years went by, and the pharaohs remembered the Hebrews until they didn't. And then that's when they started treating the Hebrews harshly. That's what it reminds me of now. Back in the day, people probably actually worked with black folks. That's why they had a heart for them. But then as time went by, they pat their asses in, our face. Brenda Fassie, Black American funk R&B, South Africa's Madonna of the Townships, was inspired by American soul and funk music while maintaining a politically conscious message. They're always inspired by America. Always. But then want to come and talk crazy. The Black Power movement inspired South African resistance music and poetry. See that? They always get inspiration from us. Jesus. Hip-hop legends like Public Enemy and Tupac Shakur influenced South African artists in the post-apartheid era, leading to a thriving hip-hop scene in Johannesburg. But we supposed to be the watered-down version of them, but you imitate us. How the hell does that even work? How? I'm not even going to try to figure that out. He knew he was talking crazy when he said it. Beyonce's The Lion King, The Gift 2019 features South African artist Buswa. Okay, I know I said it wrong. And Moonchild Sanely, bringing African music to a global audience. You see how Beyonce put y'all? God have mercy. That's why y'all get mad when we say we're not African, because that attachment to us, even though you hate it, it opened doors for you. But now that we're closing, we're like, get off me. Let go of my coattail and making me drag you around, as you get nervous. Instead of you humbling yourself saying, hey, we need that attachment, Black Americans. Please don't kick us to the curb. You want to get stupider and nastier. And they have the nerves to tell us, ask us, damn near demand that we help you. I'm going to help you all right. Collaborations like these reinforce Pan-African unity, proving that music is a powerful tool for resistance and cultural diplomacy. Black-owned media outlets were instrumental in educating the Black American public about apartheid and rallying support for divestment efforts. National newspaper publishers, Black-owned newspapers like the Washington Informer and the Amsterdam News and the Chicago Defender regularly reported on anti-apartheid protests and highlighted Black American activists advocating for South Africa's liberation. Essence published articles on apartheid's impact on Black South Africans, including stories about women and children under oppression. The magazine also honored Nelson Mandela's legacy after his passing. BET aired content that highlighted apartheid's injustices, bringing awareness to a younger generation. Black Enterprise, this publication encouraged Black American business leaders to consider the ethical implications of investments in South Africa. The work of these media outlets ensure that apartheid remained a priority issue in the Black American political and cultural conscious. Beyond activism, Black American civic professional organizations have maintained strong economic, political, and social ties with South Africa. The NAACP used its influence to advocate for U.S. divestment from apartheid South Africa National Urban League promoted economic. National Conference of Black Lawyers provided legal support for South African activists and challenged apartheid laws. National Council of Negro Women highlighted the unique challenges faced by Black South African women under apartheid and raised funds for relief efforts. Many of these organizations have continued their work in post-apartheid South Africa, supporting incentives in education, healthcare, and economic development. The relationship between Black Americans and South Africa has evolved over the decade, but remains rooted in a shared struggle for justice and equality, and that sounds good on paper. Political and economic partnerships today, Black American leaders and organizations continue to support South Africa's development through business incentives and diplomatic efforts. Now, it just sounds like a one-sided street. I'm just seeing where a lot of American businesses helped South Africa and South Africans, but where's it been returned? Here, this happened in the 80s and 90s, and here we are, 2025, and this is where we are today, with these people coming online with short memories about how Black Americans actually helped get your ass from out of harsh oppression, even when we were still going through it. Oh my God. Cultural exchanges. Black Americans and South African artists frequently collaborate, strengthening Pan-African identity. Here's the thing. A lot of Africa knows our artists, but a lot of us don't know theirs. So who's benefiting the most? When you collaborate with a top-notch Black musician, you're getting put there. You're gaining more from that collaboration than. Okay, let me shut up. The lessons of the anti-apartheid movement inform modern struggles for racial justice in the U.S. and beyond. The fight against apartheid showcased the global power of Black activism, proving that Black Americans and South Africans could unite across continents to challenge injustice. This legacy of solidarity, resistance, and cultural exchange continues to shape both communities today. I believe that in the past, if they did continue to work and unite with us and work to get rid of this oppression and unfairness globally, it would have worked. I believe it could have worked if they were sincere and they were doing it from their heart. Like, you know, I'm sure a lot of Black Americans did it from their heart when they helped them. Today, I think it's gone too long with a lack of action on their part. Major global action on their part. So I think it's gone on too long, the negligence. And at this point, we don't need to unite with you or anybody else, because there's a movement, there's something going on that we don't see with our naked eyes. And I think soon a lot of you groups are going to regret it. You're going to regret what you could have done to help and not oppress. And you're going to see it real soon. So, the conclusion is Black Americans thus played a key role in undermining one of the pillars of global white supremacy. You see how they always, Black Americans, I'm speaking directly to you. You see why everybody runs to us for help? Before they needed help, it's like, Black Americans, phooey. But then when they need help, it's, oh my God, they do it so well. We need them. But don't let them know we need them. But we need them to help us. Those who are participating in this boycott, you know, they online, they just refuse to be humble people. I guess just pride. Cut off their nose and spite their face. That's your problem. I really don't care. But instead of them humbling themselves, they want to antagonize and mock. Why don't you do it sooner? Why are you waiting to August the 1st? I'm like, okay, when you feel the fire from this boycott, do not bring your ass online begging and pleading. It's too late. When they announced it, when it first hit the wire that Black Americans were planning to boycott your businesses, that's when you should have humbled yourself and say, hey, hold up. But y'all wanted to come in talking like y'all just so rich and so wealthy in your countries, on your continent. So you don't even need a quarter from us. I keep trying to point out, if national and international corporations are coming to folks that they perceive as Black American leaders begging for us to end boycotts, what you think is going to happen to you? You African who own braid shops and African markets that I don't even go to. I would have gone to a Jamaican market before I went to an African market. And real talk, the last time I went to a Jamaican market was probably over 5 years ago. And I'm being very real. I'm not even exaggerating. But I would like to leave this with you, Black Americans. Don't just stop at South African. Don't just end the boycott with Africans. Boycott them all. Asians ain't been so nice. They accused us of doing things we didn't do. Remember the Asian hate? But then when you see videos online, it will be white men attacking Asians, older Asian women. And then they accused us of benefiting from, what is the thing? Affirmative action. And we weren't. And now that it's been dismantled, they're not getting in college. Like, it's so dumb. Wow, why didn't they're supposed to be so highly intelligent. Why didn't you guys do some research before you agreed to let this white man walk you into the den? All he did was use you. This man has made a career off of suing anything that has to do with us. Like, I think Keisha Knight Pullum and some other Black American celebrities had grants that they were giving to Black women in business. And they were directing it to Black women in business. This fool sued them and told them that they were being racist and had to include other ethnicities. I'm like, if they had created a private fund, they would have been able to get that money to whoever they wanted to. And what you got to do, Black folks, is stop. Black Americans, stop announcing what you're going to do. Go underground. Let word of mouth spread. Stop getting online, posting up flyers and, hey, contact us on such and such date. We're going to give you free money. Only Black women. Stop doing that. Oh, God. You got people watching you like hawks. Now, Right Racist America participated in making sure their communities stay funded, which was illegal. But when we come and a small group of us was like, it's like, you know what, we're going to help, Black women. We're going to help Black children. We're going to do this. They got an issue with it. When y'all been helping yourselves for over 400 years, we should sue that man for discrimination targeting. Because if you do a little investigation, you can prove that racist attorney targets us. Where are the Black civil rights attorneys? They take oaths not to help. They have to take oaths not to help. And I would like to know, those who are involved in this reparations discussion plan that's going on, why hasn't it gone any further than it has since Black Americans have been talking about reparations? You gotta wonder, either this is the hardest, biggest fight, or some people are being paid to lead us on. I'm just wondering why we have all these advocates around the nation. Why hasn't it gotten further? Either it's a very hard fight, but we got it in us to fight. We're warriors. Or these people who are supposedly taking the lead are playing games. And I have a feeling that we're going to find out real soon which one it is. All right, folks, I'm out. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope you guys listened to the entire video. Thank you for sharing it. Sharing is caring. And I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, y'all. Those who haven't subscribed, thank you for subscribing in advance. And have a good day.